What's up, everybody? You're back with Letters to My Ex. I'm Esmarie, and today the drink that we're going to try, I've never tried it before, is called the Crowd Surfer. I saw it. It seems really simple, so I'm going to show you guys. You need a little bit of coconut rum, some blue curacao, and lemon juice. Very simple. So we're going to do an ounce of the coconut rum. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to do a half an ounce of the blue curacao. Okay, that's not gonna work. We're gonna grab some more. This is pretty much empty. Every good bartender has extra on hand. So 1, 2. All right, and then we're just gonna do like a splash of the lemon juice. This is pretty interesting to me because it is such little ingredients. So curious to see how this is gonna turn out, but I was thinking, based off of what it is, if we need something more, I might be able to top it off with some Sprite. So, shake it. Tastes similar to like a lemon drop martini. I don't think it would be my first choice of a drink, but it is called the Crowd Surfer. So if you want something simple, easy, doesn't taste bad, then you may like this. But without further ado, let's get to our next letter. Now, if you've tuned into some of the older episodes, I've been getting some pretty intense letters, but at the same time, I love that because that is exactly what this channel is for. Yes, we have some funny ones, but we can also have some serious ones and some heartfelt ones where it really gives you like a different perspective if you are going through something similar or if you've never experienced that before. So keep them coming. I love it. Let's get to the next one, shall we? All right. And I think I mentioned this before. I love how there's men and women writing in because we all go through relationship issues. Okay. So, my best friend said our mothers shape sons' partners, and she's right. I have story after story about the trauma my father put me through, hearing stories about what she did when I wasn't even able to remember. You did the same. You did that same thing to me in every conceivable way, but physically. I know you would have eventually because that's what you did to your other boyfriends. And at the time, I would have probably taken it and thought about how I could be a better man to you, and I know you wouldn't be even happy if I did. I know you wouldn't be happy even if I did. You can say whatever about me, that I cheated when you did nothing, that you were the best girlfriend you could be to me while I was gone for work for 7+ hours a day. But you know that isn't true. You know what you did when I was away for work. Everyone knows what you did. You are sneaky. You ignored me for those last 3 months. You schemed to leave me while I prepared for a life in my head that would never happen while you slept with another man. Your family sat there and lied to me. And to your mom, get help, please. You and your daughter are very, very deceiving, and I was the fool to fall for it. I fully admit what I did was immature, that I wasn't perfect, and I think that's a huge difference between you and me. A huge fundamental difference between us. I don't shy away from what I did. I admit that I had my share of infidelity. I admit that I pretty much had a full-blown emotional fling on the side. That woman was my rock and my sanity during that time when you were ignoring me and I was hearing rumors 5,000 miles away. And maybe when I met that woman and everything happened with her, I knew in the back of my head that you and I were over. I know being drunk isn't an excuse. I thought about it sober. It just took the edge off of what I did that night. I could go into detail about how calm she made me feel, how she just listened to me. I could even tell you about the pact that she and I made if you and I didn't work out. And I got what I deserved because she left me the second I turned to her for comfort to have someone in my corner. But cheaters never prosper. Funny enough, I was not going to hide that from you. But you left me before we ever got to be us again. And I remember being on the phone with my mom, with whom I had a strained and difficult relationship with, that same day after you left me. But we were on good terms at that time. Do you know what I said to her about you? She will wake up one morning and realize what she did was a mistake. She will want me back. That was in the fall when you came home. I cut my amazing curly hair, I changed my number, and I tried to move on. That following month, what I said to my mom came true when I was hanging out with my best friend that I know you tried to follow, and you've tried to follow me on Facebook with a random username. Because you followed the one person that you and I were connected to in our hometown. I have nothing to say to you anymore. I was your man. I would have been there for better and for worse. And we were going through worse. That's what I thought a relationship was. You taught me that love wasn't everything, and it's not. The woman that I had that emotional link with, that was the first woman I truly fell in love with, the one that got away. And now I don't want anything to do with her anymore. I'm not interested in an apology. I'm not interested in what you have to tell me. You made your choices. You cheated with a coworker and got disciplined for it. And I think you should have been disciplined more, honestly. You chose to listen to your family and didn't want to hear what I said. You chose to hide from it. I think you're pathetic for leaving me the way that you did, and I think it's even more pathetic that you want me back and use burner accounts to do so. You're a coward for hiding behind your mother who thinks you do no wrong. What happens when she dies and you do wrong? I have found and accepted my closure. I have acknowledged my part in us. Can you? I don't think you can, but I hope one day you find it to do so. I have healed. I am me without you again. I am better than who I was with you. We knew that we were twin flames when we were together, and I still agree with that. I faced fucking hard, ugly truths about myself because of you, and I wouldn't have without you. But I pray to God, to whoever higher being is up there, that you never think about doing what you did to me and your ex-boyfriends to another man. I hope that you don't play up your sob story about how your ex cheated on you. I hope you got the help that you needed, and I know that you needed it. I could choose to hate you, but the burden of hating you is too much, so I choose to move on. I chose to let you go. Sadly, the memories of us never died. I know there is no hair on my head that you have laid hands on. The fact alone is comforting that your hands haven't touched me intimately. You and I loved listening to Zach Bryan, so I'll close with one of his lines from Cold Blooded. I think apart does us better. I'm glad it happened at all rather than never. Wow. That was a really, really deep letter. As far as this person, it sounds like, and you know, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I'm going to give my brutal honesty. Let me take a sip before this. Now, it does sound like she was a pretty shit person. So let's bring up fact number one, right? In today's society, a lot of people want to place blame on men and act like men are the only ones that can do any wrong, cheating, infidelity, screwing someone over, right? Women are just as capable. This is one of those women, clearly. So that's one problem, right? As hard as it was to deal with this sort of situation, I think that this was good for both of you. I think that this is one of those relationships that were fundamental. We all have them, right? Whether we want to admit it or not. We all have those fundamental relationships that really teach us like a life lesson. Throughout everything we experience with that person, it may not just be one singular lesson. It's like we experience so much with that person that we grow as people in those relationships and then disperse and move on. And you mentioned twin flames, and that's actually what a twin flame is you think it's like the mirror image of yourself, right? And you come together. There's a lot of toxicity, and that's what people don't want to accept about their twin flame. It's not all roses and peaches and rainbows. No, it's a very toxic situation, but then you disperse, you grow as people, and eventually come back together. So whether it's in this lifetime or the next, but I do agree with that. I think that you guys did a lot to each other, and I think it was kind of a toxic situation, and you both learned from each other. But then when you said, it makes me feel good that you have not touched a single hair on my head, I felt that same thing when I got over a very abusive relationship. And they say that your skin cells takes 7 years to get rid of like all of them. And it felt so good when I hit that 7-year mark and I realized that person has not touched a single thing on my body anymore. So I could relate to that a lot when you said that. As weirdly as it sounds, I think there's certain relationships you go through that you really didn't deserve, and that it might be a little lesson like, yeah, this is not what you deserve and you need to learn to accept more. But there's other relationships that are way deeper than that, and it teaches you a lot more in life, and it has more of an impact on you than, oh, that person's not good for you. So as odd as it may be, I think this relationship was good for both of you to learn some things that you needed to learn. And I'm glad that I realized, you know what? I'm glad that it happened, because if it didn't, I wouldn't have learned what I learned. So yeah, that's all I have to say about this one. And anybody going through this, embrace it and don't have resentment towards it. But tune in for the next episode. I hope you enjoyed. Come back for more letters to my ex. Cheers.